Nartist back at it, this time showing you how to repaint the ugliest Star Wars Black Series figure to date. Number 7, Drunken Poe Dameron. Can we save him from being a peg warmer only to be tossed and forgotten? Let's find out. So we're going to need the head, an airbrush, some Citadel paints, Bugman's Glow. Citadel is my favorite for painting figures. And some water, because you're going to water it down. The paint needs to be watered down to a milk-like consistency. That's going to give you the best flow. And give it a good shake. And let's start. So you're going to want to, if you don't have an airbrush, you can go ahead and hand paint this. I have my airbrush, so I use it because I like doing nice thin layers so it dries quicker. And as you can see, it's like a really nice even. And since this is just the base coat and there's no detailing going in there, I'd like for the face palette to be nice and even. So that's with the Bugman's Glow, just to kind of zero out everything. Head, I didn't paint the hair because it's going to be painted dark anyway. So now Ktm Flesh, that's the first color I'm going in, or second color, and it just kind of gives him a corpse-like. It's kind of funny. It looks like he's dead, and which is good because it's like your skin with no color. So it's got like a funky grayish. So I'm hitting him with all that, letting him dry. Now some Citadel Kislev Flesh. I'm gonna go ahead and get that on his face. Okay, so now we got our main little tone that we're working with. So we're going to come back in with Bugman's Glow. It's tough to say. And start doing some detailing around the darker areas, which is eyes, actually the lips. So I left this in because I really wasn't too happy with how that looked. It wasn't faded in smoothly. It was very hard contrast. So we all make mistakes, and I just wanted you guys to see I make mistakes too. Come back and fix it. So here we go again. So we're back to the flesh, and we're just going to add a little bit. And let's see, yeah, my big head gets in the way. It's because I had to get in really close to see. And that's you didn't miss much. That's what I did right there. Sorry for missing that. So we're just coming in with that Bugman's Glow and going inside like the ears, the nostrils, lips, eyes, just everywhere where it's going to be really dark shadow. And you see I'm not too gentle with it. I'm going to use my fingers and get in there and kind of push it, the paint around. Just remember, use that paint very thinned out. Back with some Kislev Flesh to blend that in. So all we're doing is going back and forth like makeup, I guess, just to blend in the features. And the flayed one flesh again, and this is for highlights. So all you're doing is just adding a little bit like on the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, the brows, those kind of areas where your sun's going to hit, and you're going to get those highlights. So that's where you're going to want to put that. And yeah, forehead to chin, all those little spots. And I'm just rubbing it with my finger to kind of blend it in. Now, next color you use, you're going to go all over him, is the Ktm Flesh Tone. Unfortunately, my camera ran out of battery and I didn't notice. So this is after I just did one coat of Ktm Flesh Tone, because you want the undercolors to still show. So now I'm coming in with that Rhinox Hide, and I'm just using that because it was a paint I had on hand and it was pretty close to the color, so I went with that. Remember, guys, you don't have to use the exact colors. Like you can tell for different paints, different companies, find what works for you or what's available for you. For those skin tones, though I do recommend those Citadel pencils rock. But for any other color kind of things, you can get away with other stuff. You'll see. I use some other paints here too. So you can see I'm just going around and around and fixing his hair, getting it all painted, every strand, and trying not to overpaint. Let's see how much more. Probably just a little bit more. There we go. Next, we're going to be lining the eyes after this, and I've got a great tip for you, and that is that what you're going to want to use for this is actually a micron double lot. That's a 005 permanent marker. You can get these at the art store, and that will make your life a whole lot easier when you're lining the eyelids. And I use this for the eyelids and the pupils of the eyes. And you see me coming in with the white, a little bit messy with the white. It's hard not to get that stuff all over the place, and plus recording it. So yeah, I cleaned it up because I got off camera and then just went through and detailed it out. So I had to get it really close. And now we're just filling in the eyebrows. Start to get those details in there and see his face coming to life. Let's see. Now we're moving on to the Ktm Flesh Tone. And we're just adding that in some little highlighted points. What would be the bright light, kind of where we see areas, kind of where we put the highlights. And once we're happy with how he looks, his skin color and texture, we're going to want to come in again with that Reikland flesh shade and start adding a little bit more detail again. So I like to work very thin, very light to dark. You don't want to go heavy right off the bat because that's how you ruin things and have to start all over. And I know that from experience, so that's why I'm making these videos, to help you guys out. That way you don't have to learn that way, learn the easier way. So as you can see, I'm just using that oil, which is great. Like, that stuff is the best stuff ever. I'm just going over and where the hairline meets the forehead, and just all the little areas that need to be darkened, shadowed. So again, with the Ktm Flesh Tone, now I'm going to mix that with some Apple Barrel Granite Gray. You can just use some gray. This is what I'm going to use for the beard, and this is how I told you. You don't have to go all expensive. That Apple Barrel stuff, you could pick that up at Michael's, at Walmart. It's like a couple of bucks for a little bottle. So I have a ton of that stuff in acrylics. So I just mix that with some of the flesh tone. That way I could do the beard stubble, because beard stubble really it kind of just makes a man's skin look kind of grayish. So that's what I did. That was my approach, at least. So I just go through and very lightly, very watered down, so it's very thin, because you don't want to overdo it and look like he has a gray face. So I just went through and gave him a nice beard line, and back again with the micron. For the eyes, I just draw a straight line down the middle, and then I use a little dot method. I just do little dots, dot to fill in how big I want the pupil. So that's what you see me doing now, is just putting in little dots. So then when I'm happy with that size, we're going to come in again, a little bit more of that the oil to darken up some areas, to blend in the stubble. And I put some in his nostrils and just other areas, just to darken and blend in a little bit better. And that's the Reikland flesh shade. So that's how you get those. It really works in those details because it's in oil and very clear, not like a paint. So do that lightly, and man, you really make your figures or um, anything come to life. So I need to stop saying so. Here I'm coming in with a little bit of white to do in the upper right hand corner. And as you can see, I did a little bit too much. It's like almost impossible. But then you just come in and right there, just clean it up. Use that micron again to fill that in, and I use my paint, and there you go. Take a look. Voila. Looking good. A million times better, I'd say, than the original. I'd say the face sculpt is there for the figure. The face sculpt is definitely there. Um, they were just painted poorly. It looked like painted by kids or something, unfortunately. So Hasbro face sculpt was there, but you guys moved on to that 3D face print, so you guys are all good. Nonetheless, any of your other figures, it's a cool way just to see how you could really make your figures, take them to the next level, make them look better. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys what you would like to see next. Although nobody really interacts too much, nobody cares. It's all good. Blah blah blah. Later.